Speaking of Elon Musk, he also was making waves talking about artificial intelligence. It's here and it's conquering mankind as we know it. Look at this.
AI is the fastest advancing technology that I've ever seen of any kind, and I've seen a lot of technology. Barely a week goes by without some new announcement. My guess is that we'll have AI that is smarter than any one human, probably around the end of next year. And then AI, the total amount of sort of sentient compute of AI, I think, will probably exceed all humans in 5 years.
All right, so on that upbeat note, just remember these words. Open the pod bay door, Hal. It's all over. It's all over. Humankind, as we know it, is gone. Scott Martin here to sort of sing our end at the Kingsview Asset Management CIO. Now, Scott, you and I talked about artificial intelligence for a long, long time. I built a career on it myself. But the fact of the matter is, when you have the richest guy on earth and probably the most prescient when it came to the opportunities for AI, he's also talking about the potential drawbacks. And for humankind, not good. What do you make of that?
Not great. Let's just say, Neil, not natural. I think it could be great depending on how AI is utilized. I mean, to your reference earlier, which is as usually very prescient, I love me some 2001 Space Odyssey. But just like AI goes out there and just kind of is expected to take over everything, that's probably not the case. I mean, perfect example, I talked to AI this morning, as I usually do when I get up, and asked her advice as to what to wear on the show today in light of the eclipse, in light of UConn winning the championship. And so far, so good. AI is making me look amazing and comfortable and confident. So there's a lot of things, Neil, in AI that are still ambiguous.
That is debatable, young man.
Hey, AI said it's okay, so it's okay with me. But still some things going forward that AI could be good for and bad for. It just depends on how we use it.
You know, it's interesting because with my prior guest, we were talking in the break a little bit about NVIDIA. It's hiccuping a little bit. I think it was down about 2.5% to 3%, maybe more. But again, this is a stock that's run up, in excess of 100% this past year. So a little give back. So I think we're 10 to 12% off our highs. But I noticed that not all the plays are. There's some maneuvering, with Intel and some of these others who have rival chips, and Google has a big conference today talking about its own, debut products and all. How do you play this whole AI thing? I mean, when they stumble, do you scoop them up? When they keep going, you keep going, keep adding to positions? What?
I believe you do. And Dan Greenhouse was a great interviewer earlier. I mean, he and I tend to be birds of a feather on some of the AI stuff because of the fact, Neil, and we've talked about this before, there's a lot of AI companies out there, at least pseudo-AI companies out there that have come out in their earnings report and said, hey, we're into AI and doing this AI stuff, and all of a sudden the stock jumps 10%. We've joked about that over the course of this year. The reality is there's probably going to be 5 or 6 or 8, let's say, companies that come out as the AI leaders. The Googles, Apple obviously getting into some more AI, Tesla, of course, NVIDIA, as you mentioned earlier, and then some of those companies, Neil, that fall flat, some of those companies that get left behind, whether it's their chips processing, whether it's the speed of the AI, whether it's the depth of the AI capabilities that they have, wherever it's applied to is where those companies need to be invested in. So I think you have to really find those leaders and stick with them. And to your point, when they pull back, that's a gorgeous opportunity to add to your position.
All right. The only thing I could add is that you might want to talk to AI again about that jacket choice. But, you're always very sartorially splendid. So
it's telling me right now that everything is going great, so I have to stick with it.
I understand. Yeah, okay. The sun will come out tomorrow. Always good seeing you. Scott Martin, Kingsview Asset Management. He's a funny guy, very smart guy. So we appreciate both.